the range would be from 43 to 47th of November. Yeah, I think right over here we broke. As we head into the end of 2024, how are these Singapore banks doing, right? DBS, OCBC and UOB. Can we see even more highs in 2025? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier MyZero trader in Philip Securities, and in this video, I'll be talking about the three Singapore banks, right? Where are we right now? Are there some supports coming out? We are now at like a multi-year high. Could there even be more upside? Or maybe we want to be careful because some profit taking can actually come back. So watch this video all the way to the end. If you don't know how are the three Singapore banks doing, I'll be diving into the chart to see what it says. And we'll even look at this one good trend, right? Indicator that I have that comes up with bullish and even bearish signals for this bank. And let's see what it says and if there can actually be more upside. Let's go. Okay, so this is DBS right over here, trading at about $43.73. You can see, right, pretty strong uptrend, I would say, since the beginning of the year after we broke certain levels like the $30. I covered this in my YouTube video and started to push up. You can see that the longer term trend has been up, I would say, since end of last year or beginning of the year, just by looking at the 100 days moving average, the red line, and even the blue line, the 200 days moving average. You can see, right, the red and blue, they are both pointing up. Right now, both of these two lines are still pointing up. So the longer term uptrend remains intact. But in the short term, well, we did see a little bit of a selling right over here somewhere in July, August. You see we sold down a little bit, started to push even higher, all right? And right now, just by looking at the trend in terms of the short term trend, you can see that it was a little bit sideways just by looking at the 20 days moving average. The green line was like flat a little bit, and after breaking this resistance at about the $40, right, you can see this green line started to slope up even more. So right now you can see still slightly sloping up, so I think the short-term trend still remains up as well for now. So let's see if there are any supports that have came out. So I mentioned, right, this $40 was a very critical psychological resistance. We were trading below, right, from like $39, $50 to $40 from September all the way to October, and finally in November we broke the $40. So very good, right? Started to push even higher, and now we are at 43.72, right? So I think a little bit of a resistance. Let me just draw this resistance level right over here. You can see, right, this would be the $45 right over here, $45. I think that is pretty much the very key level to watch for now for DBS, as where some selling can come back. And in fact, over the past 1-2 weeks, we actually saw some bearish candlestick coming out right away. So this is what we call something like a doji, whereby, you know, we headed to near 45 and it is a psychological resistance. Plus, we saw this doji coming out. It just shows that, you know, buyers will, you know, in control in the day, push prices up to near 45, but at the end of the day, sellers came back and pushed prices down, and we closed somewhere at the day low. You can see, right, after that, we started to see a little bit of profit taking. So 45 would be a very key, I would say, resistance for now. We might consolidate below for a while, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, maybe 1 or 2 months from this range. And what would be the new support level? So 40 would be a support. It became about 41 somewhere in November, but let me see if we can draw another support level. I think, well, right over here, it seems like we have formed a support right around the 43. So 43 was a little bit of a temporary resistance level. You can see, right, came down, and finally pump. We went above 43, and then now the range would be from 43 to 45, right? So it's like a $2 range, and that is also where the 20 days, you can see right over here, the 20 days moving average line is right over here. So as long as you stay above this green line, the green line slopes up well, the short-term trend remains intact, remains up as well, right? So I think this is DBS pretty much in a sideways movement for now in the short term, maybe from 43 to 45, consolidate a little bit, and if we were to break the 45, I think that's where potentially upside targets can be revised all the way to 48 and even that $50, right? So this is DBS. So let's take a look at what it says on my one good trend pro indicator, whereby, you know, it comes up with bullish and even bearish signals and guides us on entry and exit as well. So I'm just going to turn off and close off everything right over here, all right? And I can turn on what we call the signal right over here. So let me just turn on the buy and sell signal right over here. You can see, right, with the click of a button, that's where we have some green bullish signals and also red bearish signals. So I'll not go too far, but you can see somewhere around like February 2024, a couple of bullish signals, pump, right? Started to move up even higher. Another bullish signal went up a bit more, and then we got some bearish signals coming back. So when you see like a bearish signal, that's where you could see a little bit of a profit taking. It might have broken some support level as well. You can see it went down, and a new bullish signal came out and it started to go all the way up. Bearish signal went sideways a little bit, and the most recent two bullish signal was in October and also in November, right over here. I think I mentioned about breaking that $40 psychological resistance. So yeah, we got a bullish signal when it broke the $40 right over here, and it started to push up. So right now I think it looks pretty good based on this, bullish signals. It's still playing out. The one in October, the one in November, it's still playing out. There is no bearish signal coming up. So this red bearish signal, if it comes out, then you might want to be careful. That's where we want to maybe take some profit and stuff. But right now I think it still looks pretty good. This bullish signals still playing out for now. All right, and yeah, I think we can break 45 as I mentioned. That's where we could see even more upside, and this bullish signal in November could continue to play out even more. So let's move on to the second bank stock, and that would be OCBC. And by the way, guys, if you want to find out a little bit more on the entire one good trend strategy, right, attend one of those free webinars. The link is right below the video. Click on it, register for this free webinar, attend it, and that's where I'll share with you guys on the entire strategy and also how you can have access to this 1GT indicator that comes up with bullish and even bearish signals that guides you on entry and exit, right? So this is OCBC. That's going to analyze it right now. You can see that for OCBC, very gentle uptrend, I would say, since like 2023, just by looking at what we call the 100 days moving average. So the red line and the blue line, you see both pointing up very gently, red above the blue. Even right now, the 100 days moving average is still above the blue 200 days moving average. So when we see this, right, basically the longer term uptrend remains intact. Of course, in the short term, we might see some selling here and there temporarily, right? And you can see right over here, that's where we saw the short term trend turning down a little bit, right? It was like flat, up, down, started to push even higher, flat, and started to push up even more. So I think the short term trend, just by looking at the green 20 days moving average line, it is slightly pointing up. Just by looking at this green line, you see it is slightly pointing up. In fact, prices is above the 20 days moving average line. So yeah, not too bad, right? Not just from the longer term trend, but also the short term trend. So let's go to draw what we call some horizontal support and resistance to see what has came out over the past few months. So the support level used to be at about that $15 to $14.80. You can see that was originally the resistance level. We broke above it, came back down, respected the new support level, and it's hang above it a while, and we started to push even higher. So the support was about $15. I think right now support has gone even higher. So let me just draw another line right here. I think the $16 would be a new support level right now, because over the past one over money, it seems like that's where buyers have came out, right? And in fact, I would say that over the past few days, let me just go to draw this resistance level. I think 1660, right? 1660 was actually a little bit of a resistance. Look at this, right? Came down. We were consolidating below that $16.60. But over the past 3 days, right? Over the past 3 days, you can see that we actually managed to cross or close above the $16.60. Now it's 16.71, right, which is still above that 1660 or 1650. So that's a good thing. We can actually turn this to like a new higher support level. Let me just turn this to green in color. So I think that would be the support level for now. We can stay above that 1660 or even 1650 just to give a little bit of allowance. I think the uptrend looks intact, maybe all the way towards the $17 or maybe even towards $17.50. So that could be kind of like the next upside target. So let me just draw this resistance level right over here, right? So not too bad, right? Longer term uptrend remains intact. In the short term, it looks good as well. Support has gone higher from like 15 to 16, now even to like $16.50, right? So when that happens, you see support getting higher. That's a sign of strength. It shows that buyers are prepared to buy this stock at higher prices, defending it as it moves even higher. It doesn't just come back down to the lower or previous support. Well, it just goes down a little bit. Buyers comes back and the support gets higher. So that's a good thing in terms of a very firm uptrend. So let's take a look at what it says on my one good trend pro indicator that comes out with the bullish and bearish signals. So let me just remove all the analysis so it's a little bit cleaner, all right? And I can turn on what we call the signals right over here, turn it on, pump. And there we have it. You can see that we had a couple of bullish signals. So that was in somewhere around 2024, beginning of the year. We got in February, in March, pump. So it moved all the way up. Another bullish signal went up, and we went up by, I would say, from February to March, all the way here to about 18%. All right, so got a bearish signal, came down a bit, and then two bullish signals that push up. Bearish one, just went sideways a little bit. And let's go ahead to see what was the most recent signal. Well, right over here on the 7th of November. Yeah, I think right over here we broke certain resistance like the 1550. All right, I think that's where a bullish signal came out. You can see the 20 days moving average line started to slope up as well. So yeah, this bullish signal on the 7th of November, more than a month back, is still playing out. You can see, right, went up, consolidated sideways, and there are no exits. There's no like rates like this, right? No bearish signal coming out yet. So I think it still looks pretty good. If we see a bearish signal, it means that certain support have been broken. That's where we want to be careful. If not, I think it still looks good. As I mentioned, if we can hold above this 1650 to 1660 support, well, I think it looks like that's a pretty good support for now. All right, you can hold above that level. Great, the uptrend looks intact. This bullish signal can continue to play out. And of course, after breaking $17, upside targets can be revised higher as well. Okay, the final bank stock, and that would be UOB. And if you found some value so far, go ahead and give me a like, guys. Smash the subscribe button, hit the follow button so that you will not miss out on any videos like this. That will really help out the channel as well. And thank you so much, right? And let's dive into UOB right now at about $37.19. So in terms of the longer term trend for UOB, I think it looks pretty similar to like DBS and OCBC. Since the beginning of the year, we have turned into a pretty strong uptrend, all right, in the longer term, right? Just by looking at the 100 days moving average and the 200 days moving average. You can see, right, the red and blue line, they're both sloping up. Right now, obviously, still sloping upwards. So the longer term uptrend remains intact. Of course, in the short term, as I mentioned, like the rest of the banks, we did see a couple of profit taking, a little bit of a pullback, but buyers came back and pushed even higher. So let's see what is happening right now for UOB. So you can see, right, over the past one over month since November, we have broken certain resistance levels. So I think this $33.50 would be a little bit of a resistance, came down, but you can see we broke above this resistance and started to push even higher. And seems like we've found another higher support level over the past one over month. So what would be the support level? Well, I would say support perhaps around that $36. I think 36 would be a psychological support level. That's where we have been holding for about 3 to 4 weeks now. Because right, rebounded, a couple of bullish candles right over here. All right, so we held above this level, and you can see the green line started to slope up. Now it is slightly gently pointing up still, and we are still holding above that $36. So 36 would be a good support level as long as we stay above. Still looks okay. What about the resistance level? Well, over the past week, all right, I think we might have found a bit of a resistance right over here around that $37.30, right? 37.30. All right, $37.30. Seems like some selling pressure is coming back. All right, buyers push it up, and then sellers came and push it back down at the end of the day. So yeah, $37.30 or maybe $37.50. I think that's where some profit taking is coming back, right? So I think, yeah, it looks okay. I think right now, long-term uptrend remains intact. Short-term is up, just a little bit of a consolidation above 36 to like 37.50 or 37.30. All right, of course, if 37.50 were to give way, I think upside targets can be revised, right, all the way up to that 38 to maybe even that $40 new revised target. So let's take a look at what UOB says on my One Good Trend Pro indicator. So let me just turn it on right over here, and you can see bullish and bearish signals. Let me just go ahead to remove all the drawings right over here. So you can see for UOB, right, looks quite similar to DBS and OCBC. You can see a couple of bullish signals in March, somewhere in April, pump went even faster, got a bearish signal, came down, another bearish signal came down. But there were 3 bullish signals. I think these 2 bullish signals on the 7th November, on the 8th of November, you can see that that's where I think we broke certain resistance like the 33 or even 34, and we started to push higher. Another bullish signal came out as well over the past week. So I think it looks pretty good, as I mentioned, right? If we can hold above that $36, the new support level, the higher support level, well, it still looks pretty strong in terms of the uptrend, not just in the longer term, but also in the short term. And yeah, hopefully we break 37.50 and 38. I think when that happens, all these 3 bullish signals can continue to play out, all right, all the way up to like 40 or 42. Don't know where, right? But As long as we don't see like a bearish signal coming out, well, the uptrend remains intact. There is potentially still more room for even more upside. Yes, there we have it, guys. These are the 3 Singapore banks: DBS, OCBC, and UOB. I hope you have a clearer idea of what to do right now, what are some of the key levels to take note of in terms of the support, or where some resistance can come back, some selling can come back, and of course what it says on my one good trend, the 1GT Pro indicator as well, that guides us on entry and exit, right? So if you want to find out a little bit more, as I mentioned, about the entire one good trend, the 1GT strategy, and also how you can have access to this 1GT Pro indicator, all right, you can simply type the name of any stocks, any asset classes, and get a quick opinion in seconds, right? Join one of those free webinars. The link is right below the video. Click on it, register for it, all right? And that's where I'll share with you guys a little bit more about the entire framework and also how perhaps you could have access to this as well. All right, so Joey here. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, you got some value, all right, go ahead to give me a like, smash the subscribe button, hit the follow button. That will really help out the channel. And thank you so much for doing this. I'll see you in the next video or in the webinar. Joey here. Bye for now.